Witnesses in Benghazi said that at about 10 p.m. on Tuesday night, about 50 people gathered outside the U.S. consulate, which is actually just a house inside a walled compound. By all accounts, it was a peaceful and respectful demonstration. But then, according to the witnesses, at about 11:30 p.m. in Libya, 5:30 p.m. Washington time, 20 cars of heavily armed men with rocket-propelled grenades and assault rifles arrived and began an attack on the embassy, unleashing what one witness called a ridiculous amount of gunfire. The ambassador, his aide, and 2 former Navy SEALs working security were killed. The rest of the embassy staff fled to a safe house a mile away, pursued all the while by the attackers. It took about an hour and a half for security personnel to regain control of the consulate and another 3 hours to completely drive off the attackers, a U.S. official said. That would mean that the shooting didn't stop until 4 a.m. in Libya, 10 p.m. Washington time. At 7:51 p.m. Washington time, 2 hours before the shooting stopped, while confusion reigned, Reuters broke the story that one member of the embassy staff had been killed. 2 hours and 17 minutes after that, at 10:08 p.m., Hillary Clinton broke the still incomplete news that one American had been killed in the attack. Presumably, Clinton had reports from the CIA and embassy staff, but she was still unaware of the deaths of 3 other Americans. Now, I give you this web address because I couldn't believe this when I first saw it, so I don't expect you to believe it either. Romney launched his attack on this first White House response 2 minutes later. "I'm outraged," says Romney, "by the attacks on American diplomatic missions in Libya and Egypt and by the deaths of an American consulate worker in Benghazi. It's disgraceful that the Obama administration's first response was not to condemn attacks on our diplomatic missions, but to sympathize with those who waged the attacks." Hillary spoke at 10:08, and Romney responded at 10:10, 2 minutes later? How is that possible? It's insane. Obviously, they were waiting for this attack to occur. And how did they know? But 2 minutes? Are they stupid? Don't they see how suspicious that is? Well, yes and no. Yes, they are stupid, but it's the stupidity born of arrogance. They know the press is too afraid of them to point out their obvious complicity in the events of 9/11, and they've counted on the press to ignore the implications of this instantaneous response. And it gets worse. 10 days later, we get this from the Romney camp. A senior campaign official said that this attack on Obama, 2 minutes after Hillary's speech, was the unanimous recommendation of all of his advisors. All of Romney's foreign policy and political advisors were consulted about the White House remarks. All of them weighed in, and all of them unanimously recommended attacking the Obama administration's first response for sympathizing with those who waged the attacks. And they did all of this 2 minutes after the Obama administration's first response. How is that possible? Well, we've been here before. You can find your own way home on this one. But Eliot Cohen wants to help. Eliot Cohen, a senior Romney advisor, was a founding member of the Project for a New American Century. The guys, including Dick Cheney, who said we needed a new Pearl Harbor and then made 9/11 happen. And Cohen has sort of confessed to how it was that they were ready in 2 minutes. We were ready for a major debate on this. It just happened to blow up now. Well, it didn't just happen, did it? The outrageous video that sparked peaceful demonstrations didn't just happen. It was carefully and obviously orchestrated. People like Cohen wanted it to happen. Nobody thinks the attack on the embassy just happened. It was organized and complex and orchestrated to occur on 9/11. People like Eliot Cohen were waiting for it to happen. Richard Williamson, another member of the Romney team, was also waiting and hoping for such an event so that he could tell the news. There's a pretty compelling story that if you had a President Romney, you'd be in a different situation. Really, Richard, under President Romney, things would be different. I'm afraid they would be different.